Hi everyone, my name is Anita. Welcome back to my channel. And a few weeks ago, actually since the beginning of me doing this booktube channel, I did a video called Books I Want to Read in 2021. I decided that I wanted to kind of start over with that video. I'll still keep it on there if you want to have a look at it. I'll have the video linked in the video, like this video, and also in the description down below if you want to have a look. But I realized I wasn't prioritizing books that I really should be reading instead of newer books. So let's get on with this video. Okay, so I have the books here on my laptop. So I will be looking from there to give you a synopsis on what the book is about. The first one being The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. I have a collector's edition of this book coming like in the next few months or so. By my calculations, it'll most likely be around November, December sometime. So I'm excited about that. Since this is such a hyped book in the booktube community, I feel like I don't really need to give a bit of an explanation about what it is, but I still will anyway. Addie Larue makes a deal with the devil to live eternally. The only catch is that she is forgotten by everyone that she meets. She can't write, draw, have any sort of relationships, until one day she meets a man in a Manhattan secondhand bookshop who recognizes her. So I've heard this book is actually quite sad and has made people cry a few times, and it deals a lot with life and chances and how to make life more meaningful, I guess you could say. So that's the first one that I'm going to be reading. Well, not the first one, but it's one of the books I'm going to be reading this year. Okay, the second book, it's actually a book series that I want to start and get finished. I'm actually just started with the main series, and that is the Witcher series, the first one in the series being Blood of Elves. I'm nearly finished it. I'm around 211 pages into it. I can definitely get it done tonight, or today in general. The series as a whole is about a man named Geralt, who is a witcher. He is a mutant who has been trained to kill creatures and monsters that harm people. I don't know too much about it. I know the first two books are short story collections, basically like a prequel to the main series. And I think the main series is about, well, not I think, I actually have a bit of a rough idea since I'm reading the damn thing. But basically, there's this girl named Ciri who has this magical ability, and it's about her power and it saving the world or probably even destroying it. This one, like, I'm assuming that there's going to be like this big war, this big battle between like elves and humans and dwarves and all that kind of stuff. So again, I don't know too much, so I don't really know what to say about it. The second series that I would like to start, hopefully, and maybe get it finished, is The Poppy War. So starting with book one, obviously, of the Poppy War, in the Poppy War series trilogy, I think it is. No, it is a trilogy. About a war orphan named Rin and the prejudices she faces while being a dark-skinned girl who recently passed the test, the Kiju, to train at the most elite military school in Nikan, the Synagogue, all the while trying to survive her schooling and facing prejudice for the color of her skin. Rin discovers that she possesses a lethal unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. For while the Nikara Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen, I'm going to be pronouncing these names wrong, I'm really sorry, still lurks across a narrow sea. The Federation occupied Nikan for decades after the First Poppy War and only barely lost the continent in the second. And while most people calmly go about their lives, a few are aware that a third Poppy War is just a spark away. I have heard nothing but good things about this series. And again, in a similar vein to the Poppy War, I would like to get this book started and hopefully finished by the end of the year. And that is the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy, if memory serves me correctly. This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon, and where there is no mercy. Again, I have heard a lot of incredible things about this series. It is a lot of people's favorites, and it's told in second person narrative, which I haven't really read a lot of, but I'm very curious to see how it exactly plays out, because I've heard that you may think that second person narrative is a bit jarring at first, and you're thinking, is there any reason why? Is there like a point to why the story is told in this narrative? Only to realize that, oh yes, there is. And I don't want to know too much about it. I was reading like another review synopsis, I guess you could say, and it told me a little bit too much, and I'm just like, no. I just want to stop right there. I don't want to know too much about this book. I just want to kind of glow. I kind of want to go in blindly, basically. Okay, the next series I'm hoping to finish. Not hoping to, will be finishing this month. That is books 2 and 3 in the Themis files. Book 2 being, Waking Gods, and the third one being Only Human. Just to give a bit of an overview, I missed a series. Oh well, we'll start with this one. Just to give a bit of an overview about what the series is about, a young girl rides her bike one night when she falls in a hole and into the hands of a giant robot. That same young girl who fell down the hole discovered the hand is now a brilliant scientist and a leading world expert in what she discovered. Her and her team must find out as much as they possibly can about the hand, whose exceptionally rare metal peddles all human civilization on the continent. The book is told through multimedia format, interviews, newspaper articles, government memos, and various characters' journal entries. I really enjoyed the first book in the series, and I am so incredibly excited to actually finish the series. I predicted something, and I was right, and it happened right at the end, and I need to know how, why, who, what the hell, and please give me more. One I skipped over by accident is I want to at least get books 3, 4, and 5 done in the Outlander series. Now, I'm not going to hold myself to that because books 4 and 5 do get quite hefty. I believe the 4th book is like, I think books 4, 5, and 6 are anywhere between 1,200 and 1,400 pages long. Long, big, chunky books. So I'm not going to be too upset if I don't get to where I want to be at the end of the year with this book. Who knows? Maybe I might, I don't know, but I'm not going to really get too upset if I don't get around to it. Again, just to give a bit of an overview about what the book is about, or the series is about. 1946, Claire and her husband Frank are on their second honeymoon in Scotland. When Claire hears about the circle of standing rocks at Craignaddon, she decides to go and explore. When she places her hands upon the face of the rock, she transports back in time to 1743 Scotland. And I have occasionally seen this series in the fantasy sci-fi area of especially iBooks, because not so much in a bookstore because it's in like just the general fiction, because it is historical fiction romance, I consider it to be. But I think the reason why it's placed in fantasy sci-fi online is because it does have a bit of a sci-fi element, that being time travel. I love the series. I have to finish the show, but knowing me, I'll just want to sit and binge watch the whole thing. Love this series so much. It's so incredibly well written and well researched. The 9th book, Go Tell the Bees I Am Gone, coming out in October. Look, I doubt I'm gonna get to book 8 this year because it's been like 10 years, or 10 years a little bit more since book 8 and book 9. Like book 9 is getting released very soon, in a few months' time. And of course this video seems to be having a bit of a trend, a bit of a theme happening, which is a lot of series. There's only like one standalone on this list. So the series I will be finishing off this year is The Home for Peculiar Children, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I should say, series. I have books 4 and 5 over there. We'll be finishing that off this month. Here are the books. This is the 5th one. So book number 5 and book number 4. I don't know why I didn't go and get them. I think I just like had my head on The Witcher a little bit too much. and I don't know why I did not even go and get them, but these are the books number 4 and number 5. And book 6 just came out this year, so when I go on holiday to Brisbane in a few months, I plan on getting that book. Hopefully, maybe I might get it when I'm here still where I live. So, I don't know, we'll see. So, to give you a rough idea on what the series is about, because it's been quite a while since I've read the first book, so my memory is a little bit foggy about what the series basically is about. Mysterious Island, an abandoned orphanage, a strange collection of very curious photographs. It all waits to be discovered in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. An unforgettable novel that mixes fiction and photography in a thrilling reading experience. As our story opens, a horrific family tragedy sets 16-year-old Jacob journeying into a remote island off the coast of Wales, where he discovers the crumbling ruins of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. As Jacob explores its abandoned bedrooms and hallways, it becomes clear that the children were more than just peculiar. They may have been dangerous. They may have been quarantined on a deserted island for good reason. And somehow, impossible though it seems, they may still be alive. A spine-tingling fantasy illustrated with haunting vintage photography, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children will delight adults, teens, and anyone who relishes an adventure in the shadows. I really thoroughly enjoyed the series. The first one I thought was a little bit cliche, a bit typical of YA, I feel, but books 2 and 3 blew me out of the water. So good. And I'm very curious to see where books 4, 5, and 6 eventually, when I get to book 6, will go. I'm just very curious to see where the series is going to go. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is not necessarily a book or a series in particular, but rather a group of books and possibly series. And that is my entire physical TBR. I realized a little bit too late that I wasn't really prioritizing my physical TBR like I wanted to this year. So I'm going to be doing that this year. Starting this month, next month. Well, I guess you could say this month because reading these ones, this series is on my physical TBR. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is on my physical TBR. So I am prioritizing it as just a little bit too late. And if you want to see that video, I actually have a video talking about my physical TBR. I will leave the video linked in this video somewhere up here somewhere, and also down below in the description if you want to check that video out. Okay, so I'm actually filming this outro video part of the video on my laptop because my phone is updating at the moment, and trust me, to do an update on my phone when I needed to record this last outro bit, because it actually was quite blurry and it wasn't focusing because my camera doesn't actually have an autofocus. If I move around, I won't focus on the background. If I move in front, I have to manually focus it before I play the video. But yeah, that whole section was just blurry and I was like, I'm not using that. Okay, that is the end of the video. Thank you so very much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, a big thumbs up, and also leave a comment down below in the comment section, about books you planned to read this year. Have you been reading the books that you plan to be reading this year? And I will see you in the next video. Bye!